Hello, and thanks for staying with us. Customs Command seized goods worth 1.7 billion naira at the nation's seaport. Also on customs reports, Oyo and Oshu Command seized goods worth over 134.5 million naira for smugglers operating along unapproved routes in the region. Plus, more report. I am Egeseme Idie. Stay tuned. The management of Nigerian Customs Service has continued to preach to would-be importers to desist from the act of smuggling in the country. The head of Nigerian Customs in Nigeria, Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, said that Nigerian importers should also present true documents for clearance of their consignment. The CG continues to brief National Assembly members on the working of the customs.
For the FOU chap, as far as is concerned, that paper you presented did not meet the requisite requirement. That happens sometimes to innocent importers. There are also importers who connive directly with the agents and reduce the duty. And then expect that that paper, when it's out, that is done. It's not like Bible and Quran, no. It's subject to checking. And if we discover that the value of the car that you are riding is not commensurate with the duty you pay, then you question. And let me also say, the issue of saying you buy a car for 180,000 naira or also euro. Cost duty of car is not only the value of the car you bought the car. There's cost of the vehicle, there's insurance, there's freight. All these are calculated to what you pay as duty. So sometimes we need to ask questions before we begin to fight the system. If they give you an amount, ask the customs officer, what is the composition of this amount? What are the subheads that makes up this total? He will explain to you. It's not only because you bought a car for 130 euro, and therefore you will come and just look at the cost of the car and then no. There's insurance, there's freight. All those are calculated and added to the value based on the cost. So you pay. That's what the law says. So it's not that So let us ask questions. I'm sure our officers will be able to explain some of these things. And that's why the issue of underpayment do arise. Because if you compromise, or your agent compromise, in most cases agent, now we have taken the steps in custom to prosecute agents, because we have discovered that agents are cheating importers. They're not the correct charges. They will calculate everything and give it to you, and you give them the money. They will go and take that money, and then if you say your car is 2018 or 2019, they will go and reduce that car to 2009, and then say it's accidental. And they know that the value will drop, and they will pay that. And when you bring that car out, and FOU officer sees you with that car, and you present that document, he looks at the car, it does not meet that description. And therefore you are liable to pay another money. So this is what is happening. This is what is happening. And we are doing the best we can, but always ask the question. And that's why we're trying to automate the system. By e-custom, you can sit in your house. You want to import Mercedes 250 E. You will see the freight, you will see what is the insurance on it, what is the freight on it. You calculate your duty. You can pay online without talking to anybody. Then you can ask an agent to go and collect it for you. It makes it easier. We are trying to automate the system. And once that is automated, this discretion will remove completely. And therefore, agents will not, but today, agents are one of our biggest problems. Because they give you a different listing, and they go and do a different thing. And they give you, when they collect the paper, you don't even know which one is genuine, which one is not genuine. as far as we are concerned, you have a genuine custom paper. But by the time the officer looks at it and says it's not genuine, the quarrel will start. How come? Is it not from custom that it comes? It might not be from custom. It might not be from custom. So these are some of the things. But we are available for questions. And I want to grab the indulgence of members. If there's an incident that happened where you see that an officer or there's a likelihood of connivance or corrupt activity, please draw our attention. Draw our attention. This meeting, I am going to respond to this one after the other. I would first take the chairman's comments on the issue of the budget of 2021 and the need to increase it from the 1.4 trillion to 1.679 trillion. Let me grab the indulgence of the chairman here to say the target set by the federal government every year is based on some parameters. Is not based on an ad hoc computation. First and foremost, the MTEF, which is the budget committee, sits down and look at and do a complete analysis, and then do a projection. And with our own officers, we also sit down and look at what is feasible that can be generated. And Mr. Chairman, I make haste to say this last year, 2020, we are lucky. Despite the COVID-19, we were able to garner this. But as at then, the African Free Trade Agreement did not come into place. African Free Trade Agreement has now taken effect from the 1st of January 2021. And that agreement is geared towards zero duty for all imports coming from member countries within Africa. Imports coming from countries within Africa is a significant percentage in the collection of duty we do. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, if you recall when Ngozi Owela was here, she made mention of the WTO agreement. That also has come into effect, and we are signatory to that treaty. What is also gearing to us is zero duty to the import of member countries. So if we take this into consideration, Mr. Chairman, and I also want to say here that the COVID that we are praying assiduously that COVID subsides. The vaccine is getting on and very well, although many Nigerians are shying away from it, from what I gather. But hopefully, very soon it will pick up and most of us will be vaccinated and protected against this pandemic. But we must also make sure you understand that a lot of industries outside Nigeria have suffered tremendous injuries with regards to the COVID. So picking up and really producing and of course for our own people to be able to buy these things will take a longer time. So putting all this together, Mr. Chairman, and then when we look at the target, we would crave the indulgence of this committee to understand that we rather tread on fair ground than to be in a haste. We need to take it slowly. 1.4, the last time when the COVID came into place, the government decided to reduce that budget to 1.3 trillion. By God's grace, we were able to get 1.5 total collection. So it is also our hope that if we get anything above 1.4, it will reflect in the collection. But I don't want us to set the target too high, and then at the end of the day, we find it difficult to meet, and we feel somehow that we have not been able to perform. But there are variables, intervening variables, that I want you to take into consideration. And these agreements, when they fully take effect, they are really going to eat much in our own collection because there will be zero duties. And we cannot enforce it beyond that. We must allow these things to come at that level. So, Mr. Chairman, I want you to take this into consideration in taking a decision as to what amount should be. And I feel that we should return the 1.4, and if anything, in the course of the year, allows us to collect anything more than 1.4, it will be reflected just like it was reflected in 2021. But I don't want us to be too ambitious, only to fall far short of what is expected. I think the morale of the officers will be sustained if we are able to either meet the target or equal this. But if we begin to fall far below because the target is set so high, then there will be a problem. So I appeal that we look at these variables and consider the issue of raising the budget, the target to 1.6. We will return to 1.4, and I assure you anything collected beyond 1.4 will be reflected just like it is reflected in 2020. There's no doubt about that. But our projection...
You are watching the program Customs Report. A total of 7 containers of fake drugs have been impounded by Apapa Customs Command. The controller said that importers should also cross-check from customs what kind of goods are allowed to be imported into the country. The Customs Command in Apapa has seized various assorted goods worth 1.7 billion naira in Lagos. The Customs Area Controller said the command also seized 2 containers of unprocessed wood and 1 container of scrap copper wire from some importers.
In line with the provision of Eastern laws, trade guidelines, and enforcement of government fiscal policy measures, the command was able to further strengthen its anti-smuggling operation against economic saboteurs through credible intelligence-driven operations. This led to the seizure of 4 by 40-foot containers laden with unregistered pharmaceutical goods. That is 674 cartons of tramadol tablet in 225 mg and 120 mg. This is a very high grammage that is dangerous to health. And 805 cartons of codeine syrup in 100 ml at APMT and CPAC's 3 bonded terminal respectively. This importation contravenes Section 46 and 47 of the Custom and Excise Management Act, CAF 45, LFN 2004 of the Federation. Members of the press, it is pertinent to note that these dangerous drugs pose serious threat to health of the citizenry and economic well-being of the country. As such, the command is forced to tackle this menace head-on at any given time.
So that the dangerous drugs seized pose serious threat to the health of Nigerians. According to him, the 4 by 40 container were loaded with 675 cartons of tramadol tablet in 225 milligram and 120 milligram, with another 805 cartons of codeine syrup. The containers were discovered at APTM Terminal, Apapa, and CFAX 3 bonded terminal in Ijora, Lagos.
An agent is somebody who has been contacted by an importer. And let me tell you one thing, to be honest, the agent may not even know, though there's no agent here because there's no declaration, may not know that these are the items inside the container. You understand? He may not know, and he may end up carrying this consignment and take it to the man's house, you understand, without knowing that there is some bad or illicit drugs inside it like that. My advice to them is anytime they are taking job from an importer, let them put it in writing. This is the kind of things that they are importing. So that in case, even if they lodge a declaration, if they were apprehended, they will now bring this in. After all, this is what the importer told me he's carrying inside the container. And he can be able to exonerate himself from that. So agent, you have to be more and more careful. A lot of agents, they just fall victim of circumstance because they don't even know the content of the container, what is inside the container. An importer will just give you a document. After you give you a document, you go and start processing the document. And at the end, you don't even know the items inside the container. And one important thing I want you to understand is that most of these things is they are capitalizing on our inability to have the container, the scanning site where this kind of arrangement can easily be visible in the scanning. Because look at the way he put it. He knows that 100% examination was going to be very, very difficult. Because the terminal, they don't have enough label, and therefore saying that you have to drop every container and bring all the items inside the container. How many containers can you examine in a day? So these are the situation.
We have a very wonderful and robust relationship and intelligence sharing with the National Customs Service. As I speak, my commander at the seaport have almost a daily communication with the CAC. Every morning, anytime we have meetings, he will tell us the robust relationship he has. And that particular kind of relationship, we're able to extend it to the terminal here. I equally have a very good relationship with the DC. When we equally have the intelligence concerning the container on the 8th of April, I quickly shared it with the DC, and he told me that yes, they equally have it, that if we have the same information, which means that the container is very authentic. And we had a very close monitoring of that container for 3 weeks before we have the CAC here.
He urged importers to continue to comply with government directives on clearance of goods at the port. The Katsina State Customs Command has intercepted goods including petroleum products and other assorted goods worth over 50 million naira for smugglers. The acting controller in charge of Katsina Command and also the deputy controller of customs said that is leaving no stone unturned in tracking the illicit trade in the area. The acting controller in charge of Katsina State has again smashed a syndicate that specialized in smuggling things into Nigeria. The command seized 197 jerry cans of vegetable oil, 98 bags of foreign rice, and tomato paste. The acting controller in charge of Katsina State has again smashed a syndicate that specialized in smuggling things into Nigeria. The command seized 197 jerry cans of vegetable oil, 98 bags of foreign rice, and tomato paste.
Seized items include foreign rice 50 kg, 486 bags, vegetable oil 25 liters each, 197 jerry cans, cartons of foreign tomato paste 2 kg each, 6 cartons, cartons of foreign spaghetti 304 cartons.
Other seizures include Toyota and other cars, which include a heavy-duty truck.
9 vehicles were intercepted. We have a whole tipper truck. We have one Toyota Corolla 2008 model. We have one main diesel tipper, one used Citroen Space Wagon, one used Honda Accord, used Volkswagen Passat, used Volkswagen Golf 3, used Peugeot 504, and used KC motorcycle.
He vowed that the dead devil smugglers sabotaging the nation's economy will not have any breathing space in Katsina.
And the safe rate of trade facilitation, ease of doing business, the CCC has directed that we should tell the public, we should have this type of forum, we should respect the forum and make it regular.
He said that the command will continue to ensure legitimate trade facilitation for genuine businesses and local industries to grow. The Customs Area Controller in Oyo and Osun Command has collected a total of 15 billion naira into the Federation account. The Customs Controller also said that within 2 months, the command also made seizure of rice and dangerous drugs worth 134.5 million naira. The Customs Command in Oyo and Osun Command has intercepted goods worth 134.5 million naira from smugglers. The Customs says that a total of 3,311 bags of foreign rice and other items were seized by the command. The Customs inaugurated Operation Special Team to further enhance anti-smuggling capacity by taking the battle to the smugglers' den through tactical raid.
Another proficient team has been set up, codenamed Excise Task Force, to manage the excise factories extensively and widen the dragnet to infuse factories that have qualified to be enlisted under the Custom and Excise Control. Further improve the performance and achievement of the command on revenue and enforcement procedures. We have carried out our enforcement and anti-smuggling activities with utmost professionalism, caution, and intelligence gathering. We urge the public to cooperate with Nigerian Customs Service in the implementation of government fiscal policy to help improve the economy and social welfare of the nation. The Controller General of Customs, Colonel Ibrahim Ahmed Ali, has directed more stringent measures to further strengthen the interception capabilities of customs officers in collaboration with the extant laws and regulations, guiding import and export procedures of the country, while reiterating that the Oyo and Osun State borders remain closed to any form of inward or outward trade. To ensure effectiveness and efficiency of service, we visited sister agencies.
The seizures include 221 cartons of imported fish, 9 sacks of cannabis, 5 sacks of used shoes, 138 gallons of vegetable oil.
It is my pleasure to inform you that we have not lost sight of very important function of the fight against smuggling. We have sharpened our intelligence, re-strategized, created new patrol teams, and draw a more robust area of responsibility, AOR, in brackets, chart to help combat these illicit activities. In line with Customs and Excise Management Act, CAB C45, Law of Federation of Nigeria, 2004. SEMA, which guides the operations of the service. We have conducted our duties with professionalism and efficiency. We evoke Section 147 and 151 of the SEMA with the power to cite premises for uncustomed goods and power to give rewards to informants who give genuine intelligence to help improve the capabilities of the command on anti-smuggling duties. Section 158 and 167 of Customs and Excise Management Act, SEMA, CAB C45, Law of Federation of Nigeria, 2004, empower customs officers to patrol freely,
so that Oyo and Osun State Command remains close to any form of inward or outward trade in the country. Just before we round up this week edition of the program, Customs Report, we brought you a report where various goods worth billions of naira was accepted by Nigerian Customs Service. For me, Igeseme Edine, thanks for watching.